We're live.
Okay, we are. That's true, actually. It's a true statement of fact. In fact,
Yep.
welcome to the podcast ever.
Again.
Oh, hold on. I can't believe I missed it. Yeah, there we
The
go.
podcast ever.
No.
Is that Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
From what?
I don't know. I think this was during his talk about being in the Sonic movie, and then he just made that face.
I need to watch that then.
I don't know about that. I
heard it didn't
heard
suck.
the best things about that movie.
I heard the opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've only heard from like probably a couple of people, so. But hey, we are back. It is another week, and I am back from DC. I went to the Libcuck Central.
The what?
Libcuck Central. Base of the Libcucks.
The place you went to specifically, or the city?
I'm just saying the city, but you know, it counts.
Fair enough.
Yes, but let me tell you, I don't know if you know about this. Have you flown recently?
Not recently. It's been like 3 years.
Well, I flew in with Delta, and let me tell you, I had to go to the bathroom before the plane took off. I go to the back, and let me tell you, the bathroom was so thin. It was like it was a little bit wider than my body. There's no way somebody that was like fat as hell that gets on the plane could go in there. I just don't think so. And especially sitting down, man. I had to adjust myself, you know, like, but it was hard. Because how like, you know, there was not any room in there. Like with how close my legs were to the walls. But
the white walls?
What?
The white walls.
Yeah, well, my question is, do they stop this or do they do this to stop people from fucking? You know? What's next? You know, they pat me down before I go into the bathroom to make sure I don't take any lotion in there. I mean,
do they even care at that point?
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think
at that point
it's just kind of person.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's just like a mess that the cleaning person has to deal with. Like, it's not like a public disturbance, really. Because, I mean, those planes are loud, bro. You don't, like, feel it when you're in there, but, like, the sound of the turbines and, like, the wind and all that, it's loud as fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there was turbulence both ways, too, like, a lot of it, especially on the way back.
It was cold this past weekend.
A whole lot of turbulence.
You know, the last time I was on a plane, it was an international flight, and I forget, I think it might have been like either British or American Airlines, one of those two. And when I was there and I went to the bathroom, I was pleasantly surprised to find the bathroom was actually, you know, decent size for a human being.
Mm-hmm. Well, man, I mean, usually it at least accommodates me, but, you know, I don't know if I'm getting fat or this just was not made for a normal human, in my opinion, or at least somebody that's, you know, well, I'm like, you know, I guess I'm not that much taller than the average person just by a few inches.
So it was a height thing too.
Well, you know, my head wasn't even hitting the top. I'm just saying because I'm taller, I'm obviously going to be wider, just generally speaking. So maybe it was built for somebody that's, you know, of average size, in general, proportionally.
Yeah, but even then, like you're doing like the bare minimum. Like usually there's like some like leeway, like, oh, well, even if you are just assuming it's the average guy, you want some like, you don't want them like barely touching or almost hitting their head.
Right. Well, it wasn't even the head that was an issue. It was, you know, the sides, just splitting your legs open if you need to take a dump.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not a good experience. You're like,
no,
fucked there. Not. You can't do shit there, literally.
You know, on the way back too, because I guess I'll just go into the flights there and back first. Well, first of all, TSA stole a fucking like brick of like this dried fruit from me because they said it was malleable. I got through it on the original airport, but then in the DC one, they're just like, no, we can't let you through with this. You're gonna have to put it in a check bag. I'm like, I don't have a check bag. And he's like, well, that's unfortunate. So, you know,
something like that happened to me before when I was traveling to, it's a fucking French, man. Those guys are assholes. I was traveling from Spain to France, and I was doing like the check bag or whatever, like the bag you have on you, and the thing rang because it's like, oh, there's like liquids or whatever. And at the time, I thought, okay, they just really don't give a shit. But now I'm starting to think like it was specifically that guy that didn't give a shit. But my bag got like stopped. He's like, oh, there's something wrong, and he's like barely speaking English or whatever because he's like a Spaniard. Um, and he's like, I take out my water bottle that's like on the side of my like the pouch of my backpack or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, just throw that away or drink it, and he just let me go through. He didn't like check again or anything, and
Yeah.
I guess they didn't have like an X-ray or whatever. But then when I was coming back from France, I had a bottle of cologne or whatever, and I mean, I guess in hindsight they kind of did me a favor there, but it was specifically a French woman too, and this is like burned into my mind more than any other aspects of the trip. Uh, they like stop my bag. She looks at me, pulls it out, and she's like, "No," and I'm like, "Come on, really?" And she's like, "No," and she takes it. That's it.
Yeah. You could have just been like, oh, see if you did anything about that.
Oh, mon chéri.
Yeah. Well, I kind of got screwed on that one. But on the flight back, I was feeling really tired because I had weathered these insane conditions of like midway 30s, like mid 30s in temperature at night going out, and then getting like 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. So here I was very tired. Fell asleep for a little bit on the plane, probably like an hour's worth. And the thing is, I was like leaning a little bit over into the aisle, right? Because I just didn't even realize. Thing is, I get like jolted up because the lady like hits me with the cart as she's passing through. And she's like, people, like, mind you, like the car, like, but keep your knees inside the fucking seats. Like, Jesus, lady, what the hell? And that was I don't know if you've watched The Office, but there's a scene where something like that happens, and it just kind of reminded me of that. I'm like, when I watched that, I'm like, there's no way they would do that, but no, they would.
Not even like a tap on the shoulder, sir. You're in the way, or like,
yeah, she could have tapped me with the cart, but nah, they were just like plowing through.
Move, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I had no control over that. Like, even with the seatbelt on, I mean, my body's just moving to the left. What can I do about that?
You can move, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, I get it. Like, if I lean the other way, I'd fall asleep on somebody. They'd wake me up, but at least that person would just like tap me or something. I don't think I'd get shoved.
How tight were the seats?
They were tight, like a little bit. Not.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because on the way there, nobody actually flew with me, so I had like 3 seats to myself. But on the way back, yeah, there was like a guy and his wife next to me. Yeah, I don't know why he specified that it was his wife, because I was like, oh, are you on the window seat? He's like, yeah, and my wife is in the middle. Okay.
He
I mean,
subtle
I get it,
brag.
she was like some supermodel, but nah, man.
He said, "Yeah, me and my wife."
Right.
And he like pauses and lets you like have like a cinematic view of her and everything. Are sitting on the window in the middle seat. You're on the end.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I like the aisle seat better as far as because I don't like being in between people.
I usually prefer the window seat.
Well, I think the middle is the worst.
Yeah, it is.
Being between two people, and you're never going to get those armrests. Actually, I don't know. Does middle deserve the armrest or no?
I think it's a fight you have to like establish dominance before the flight takes off.
That's true. You just have to decide it. I mean, those seats are tight, and I'm a bit wider than the average person, just because, I mean, even the bulk on my body is just, it requires me to have more like shoulder room. I have like broader shoulders than these fools.
Elbow room.
See, this guy did not have broad shoulders, so screw him.
Was his wife hot?
No, not really. I mean, she wasn't like the hideous, but it's like, man, you got to say that's your wife or something. You obligated contractually.
I think that explains it more now, because he doesn't have a big build, so he's like, "Hey, my wife," like he's compensating.
Yeah, it's like, don't touch her, or else I don't know. I'll call security.
Like, hey, man, I didn't know. I was not intending to.
Should have just hit on his wife on the way back,
just to make a point of it.
Yeah. Be like, oh, so are you single?
Hey, pal, that's my wife you're talking to. And you just like stare him down. Don't say a word. Continue the conversation.
Yeah.
What can you
So
do? At that
roughing
point?
it out in DC was something. We went to this like karaoke bar. There was a bunch of Asians, and it was called like, well, should I say it? I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not in DC anymore. It was called Walk and Roll.
I think there's a
Walk,
place like that.
WOK, and roll. It come with
I
egg
like
what?
doing too.
Yeah, but anyway,
Come with
there
egg.
was
It come with egg roll. It come with egg roll.
there were Asians there, and like as soon as we come in, you know, I mean, obviously all the like people who weren't at the bartenders were like white. I don't know why I'd even say obvious, but it's true. So they were pretty much like, I think it was only like 10:30 at that, and they were already closing people out.
For the karaoke or like drinks?
Drinks. They were like, yeah, no, we're not allowing like you to open a tab. You're just gonna have to like close out as soon as you buy.
Wait, are you like? So is it like you have to buy every time, or you're not even allowed to do that?
See, one guy that was with me said what he heard from them when he was talking to them. I don't know, maybe it was loud and he didn't understand, but you know what he was confident saying it, that they were doing last call as well. But I'm not so sure about it.
When does the place close?
Actually, you know what? I don't know, because like it says they're supposed to close at 2, and I remember like pretty much everybody leaving at like close to not even 11. Yeah.
Was it on the door or was it on like Apple Maps or something like that? The like
Pretty sure that's what it said on Apple Maps. I don't know what the door said.
Apple Maps is pretty
But who closes a bar at like 11?
Yeah, some
a
of
club
these
too. It's like a karaoke bar.
Some of these like weird well, not weird, but like some of these places, especially in cities like that, they don't like, they still have like the COVID thing and they kind of just never recovered like from it. So that's what I would assume.
Why? What is, they just never fixed it? Like they just decided, yeah, we'll just keep going with it.
I'd imagine it's like a finance thing. Because I remember
how's that a finance thing? They're losing money by people that aren't spending more money at night. They're only open at those times.
Bro. Maybe there's just less people that are willing to work that late or something, which I don't know why. It's a karaoke bar. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, but we went to another karaoke bar. This one was actually really good. I think I should gatekeep it, honestly. You know, I did not even get out the name. Huh?
You hopped bars once you realized that it was not ideal.
Yeah, it was lame as hell. But yeah, we went to another one. Actually a really good one. Like there was a group of guys and we dominated that place, honestly.
What'd you sing?
So we went both nights, like, or not both. There were like 3 nights that we were there. I went the last 2 nights, and first night I sang Sweet Child of Mine, and then the second night I sang Welcome to the Jungle.
Did you do the voice thing?
Yes. And for the second one, Welcome to the Jungle, that, I mean, Sweet Child of Mine already got a shit ton of applause from the crowd, but like Welcome to the Jungle, like everybody was going wild. There was this guy, like some random guy. I don't know if he like goes there constantly. I think he was traveling, honestly, but he's like, yo, man, that's so cool. Like I saw them at this place. Like, I saw their show. So awesome. He's like, I know that's not even easy either.
That. I mean, it's not. People get really excited about bands like that.
Yeah.
One time I went to like a concert. It was actually in Beanland. With our buddy. No, other Beanland. You know, it's weird how that's like
Miami.
Yeah. Okay, I should have been more specific. Beans on Toast Land.
Oh. See, I thought you just meant like, you know.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. That's why they should stop eating beans. So then there's not that confusion.
Frijoles.
Frijoles. But we were at we went to a concert and we were walking out. Me and Papa John. And as we were walking out, some British guy was like, "Oh, bro, that's the best band ever. You got the best shirt in the whole club." And it was a punk band shirt that I was wearing by the name of Discharge. And they were a UK band, so that's probably why.
Punk?
Yeah. Well, hardcore, technically. I think I still have that shirt.
That's a good shirt you got there.
See, it wasn't even that. He was like really happy about it. He was like, "Oh, that's the best band ever. You got the best shit on. I love that band. That band's the best." Like that kind of shit.
Yeah. But sounds like a fucking regular show character.
I think everybody there sounds like a regular show character, technically, like by default. But yeah, people get really like specifically like rock and like metal, that kind of like punk, that kind of shit. People like really go off on that. I don't really see that kind of enthusiasm from like pop and like other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And at the second night, there was like a group of girls that like I think there was like one singing. One of my friends starts like singing up to her, and he was trying to get attention from the girls. And a couple of guys end up talking to them. One of them actually bought a guy a drink, but she had a boyfriend.
what was the point of that?
I know.
What
Like,
the
why would
fuck?
I don't know why she did that? Maybe because the guy was talking to her and he was talking to her for so long that she's like, well, I may as well do that for him. But still, it's kind of strange. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
when you
W
just
for him, but like, that's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if her boyfriend wants to know about that.
oh yeah, we just went to the club with some girls, you know. I bought a guy a drink. You what?
Another one of
Yeah,
the
that's
girls
weird.
actually like was like talking to the guy. There was this guy who had just had his girlfriend cheat on him while he was in DC. And
She was like not in DC, I assume.
yeah, she was somewhere else.
Okay.
He cheated on him. He figured it out. It was with her ex-boyfriend.
It always
She
is.
went back to him. And so he was feeling down. But the next night, after he figured that out, there was a girl talking to him and she invited him for coffee the next day. And I'm like, he's like, what do I do? I have like this thing we were at. He's like, oh, I have to go to that the next day. I'm like, shit, man, just blow it off.
Yeah, I mean, is it? You're not like bound by contract to go to it or
Yeah,
anything, are you?
you're not. Well, I invited a buddy to come up and he said he was going to go and then he didn't.
Oh, that one
Yeah.
buddy.
Bro. Bro. And then he's like, because it's always like when he doesn't come to things, he makes these excuses like, I have an exam. I have so much homework. It's always like he has assignments or exams coming up that he gets all at once, all of a sudden, for some reason, after he already agreed to the thing.
That's true. I've been present when that's happened.
Yeah. And then, yeah, he just tells me that. So I messaged him yesterday because he was asking how it was. I'm like, dude, I just got a call from them today. They want you to pay them for the hotel. And they said, if you don't, I'm out. And then he's like, what, man? They were going to pay for my hotel. I'm like, no, man, but that was a vacancy they could have had. He's like, what? Then why haven't they called me? Like, I'm like, I mean, you should expect it. But then I just said, like, I'm fucking with you, man. He's like, you had me going on for a minute. He apparently was like freaking out.
Now listen, I'm not of. Hold on. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say that. What I was going to say though is you should have kept going for it and see how long it would take for him to realize that you're fucking with him.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to make his stress peak for like a minute or two and then get him. It was probably like 5 minutes or something.
That's a good enough amount of time, yeah.
Yeah. I think I was like let me actually look at the messages here. Yeah. So I was like, bro, they called a couple hours ago saying, why didn't your referral come? He's going to have to pay. And then he's like, nigga, what? Pay what? I was going to go free, LMAO. He texted that like 3 minutes later. I texted a minute later. I said, they had to pay for your room. They said, if you don't want to get into contact with, or they said, if you don't get into contact with them, I'm done. And then he texts like back like 5 minutes later. He's like, are you for real? How come they didn't get into contact with me? And then I'm like, no, I'm fucking with you. Like a minute later, he said, I was heating up for a good minute.
I was gonna ask the guy that got cheated on. Is he a guy that I've come in contact with?
No, new guy. I met him there, but he seemed like a cool guy. That's a shame that his girlfriend did that.
Maybe he's too cool of a guy.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Did you ever meet up those with those other people you were gonna meet there?
Which ones?
The ones that like first mentioned it in your in our little group chat you got there.
Yeah, I did. Met them all. Those are the usuals.
Chronically.
Now, I did see an Irishman there that I already knew, but I think this was like the absolute first night where we were trying to find something to do. I think it was like, I can't remember what it was. I was asking around to see if there's anything going on. And so this one guy was like, yeah, we're actually planning on buying some liquor, and then we're going to go to this like bar after, and then we're going to go back to my place, and like for the after party, we're going to drink the liquor I bought. So I'm like, all right.
Damn, could you say you pulled up to the after party?
Okay, I pull up, hop out at the after party. Yeah. I just imagine capybaras when I hear that.
Right?
But no, so we bought the liquor. We went before, like right before they closed. We go back to the hotel to drop it off, go to the bar. I really talk to some people, but I don't really drink there at all. I don't buy anything. I just talk to people for a while. I'm waiting for the after party, We go to the after party. It's in the guy's room, but his roommate was like already falling asleep there. And he's like, yeah, guys, I don't know. We're only going to have till like 1 o'clock. And it was like less than an hour or less than half an hour till 1. I think it might've been still like 45 minutes or an hour. But the guy pulls up, the guy with the room. That's not the roommate. And then he's like, yeah, okay. Like, he makes a drink for himself. And then his roommate like falls asleep, but way before 1. And then one guy that's in there is like, all right, guys, let's just fan out. I'm like, nigga, what did we do this for? There's no after party. So, the thing is, I go back downstairs. There's this Irish guy. He's like, have you tried mead before? And I don't recall having good experiences with mead. I think I've tried some other guy's mead and didn't really like it much.
Like Irish or like Irish descent?
Well, he's not like from there, but he's, his family is, so.
He's got the red hair?
No.
Did he have an accent?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Even though like he was born here.
Wait, what?
Because he grew up in this like small town.
Like an Irish town that they just kept the accent?
Yep. He still has it. And he was born here. Never. Well, I don't know if he went.
That's weird. I'm not aware of that. I'm usually aware of these things. I'm out of the loop.
Let me see if I can find anything about it online. Trying to see if I can find if the city has any information on that. It's a small town. Very small.
When you said Irish guy, I thought you were talking about the one content creator that's got the red hair.
No, that guy wasn't there.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. Have not met that guy in person. But anyway, so he's like, you guys like mead? We go up with like 4 guys who are already drunk. Or I guess it's like 3 other guys who are already drunk and I. And we start passing around the bottle of mead. I tried. It's like a honey wine, And I'm like, well, damn, this shit ain't bad. So we're just going through it, like taking chugs, passing it to the next guy, rotating, and like
puff, puff, pass.
Yeah. Well, so like we get to the end of the bottle and like, damn, bro, it was strong. Drinking a quarter of that bottle already got me like not fucked, but like pretty there. And I just see the guy because he's like a big boy, right? But I just see him there after. He's like breathing pretty heavy. He's like, he's like sitting up at his bed doing that. And yeah, so I'm like, how much did you drink? And then he just told me, he looks at me, he's like, honestly, around 600.
What?
Bro, he was saying he must have drank like $600 worth of alcohol. I mean, like, I'm assuming like, he pays the tabs, like when he, you know how bar drinks are, how expensive they are. He didn't just drink from bottles, but like he was at that
like
bar
a
that I was
city
at.
Too.
Yeah. But he's like, honestly, around 600. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. I text him the next day and I'm like, are you good? Cause I told him, you got to sleep on your side, man. Do not sleep on your back. And he just texts me. He's like, yeah, I'm just recovering. Dude, based on how much alcohol you drink, that's good.
Oh, you mean the recovery time?
Yeah. And well, no, I'm saying like he's texting recovering instead of like not fucking texting at all.
Yeah.
Probably fucking passed out or dead.
Damn.
I mean, I don't think it was going to kill him. He's a big guy, but still.
He's Irish.
Yeah, that too. I underestimate the Irish.
They always do. They always do. They call them the blacks of Europe for a reason. That's a real thing. That's not even my thing. That's like an actual thing.
Yeah. Well, just like how Brazilians are the blacks of Hispanics, man.
That one's like actually true. Like literally true, I'm pretty sure.
Honestly, there was this I was with this guy. When we were at the good karaoke place. We got approached by this like brown guy. And he was telling us something. And so then my friend looks at me after he leaves. He's like, honestly, dude, I thought he was with us. Like, I thought he was just one of the Brazilian guys. I was like, me too. We honestly thought he was part of our group and he was just some Brazilian we hadn't met yet.
Yeah, the 2 that I mentioned before, and they said there's like a ton of Brazilians there. And that's the weirdest thing too. I never thought of Brazilians being in that kind of group.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, it's like we had people come in from like Middle East and North Africa, I guess. And then like Europe, like mostly Western Europe. I think there might have been a little bit of Eastern. I'm not sure.
I thought that
Uh,
was headquartered in Germany, though. That like organization.
uh, I don't think so. I won't get into the details, but no, I'm pretty sure it's headquartered in DC. They just have
Hmm.
like they're just international.
Makes sense.
But anyway, point
I should have
being,
gone.
yeah. Well, anyway, point being, I guess there weren't a lot of brown people other than the people that were like from India, or I think it was Bangladesh. There were people from
Same
there.
thing.
Yeah. Well, and then there was like some sub-Saharan African people, but like the only real like brown people other than the Indians were probably the people from Brazil. So that's why we both thought that. But honestly, dude, like I was sitting next to this, like, okay, so they had like a Bangladesh guy that was like a midget. And I remember like I scooched in between some seats and he was like 2 seats away from me. And the amount of cologne I smelled off him was just insane. I was like, oh my God, I need to get out of here. It was terrible.
Usually when I think of that, I think of or not Hispanic. Well, kind of Hispanics, but like Arabs. Arabs are the ones that are known for like the ridiculous amounts of cologne.
Yeah. Well, it was the cologne mixed with like the Pajit smell.
I was gonna say he's trying to compensate for the curry.
Yeah. Well, you could smell it on him. I don't know, man.
It didn't even work.
It was not great. I mean, the cologne was the stronger smell. The other one was actually it kind of worked for him because the other smell was subtle because of the cologne, I think. But it wasn't good.
Cologne doesn't even smell that great. I don't know.
No, it was the fact that it smells disgusting. So anyway, it doesn't really like make it like worlds better. It's just I guess it's bearable for some people. But yeah, his cologne did not smell good.
I don't think there's ever been a cologne where I was like, "Oh, this smells great." I think it happened maybe once.
Yeah, it was like starting to already like give me allergies in a couple of minutes, so I just got up and walked back to like a different row. I at least like circled around a little bit. Like I didn't go just straight back. I like kind of circled around and then came back up.
Make him feel like he's not the Pajit.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'll be respectful, you know. So but damn, bro, it was just not good.
Were most of the people there? I mean, it's a big city, but were most of the people there? Like, is it noticeable that there's like that kind of convention or whatever there? Like, is it a ton of the people there for that or?
Well, I ran into some people in a nearby like CVS, so I don't think I like crossed across many people outside of the hotel like completely, but if anything, like we would go to some bars and there would already be some people from there or like other ones that come in. But I think that had to do more with like coordination outside of it for like, this is where we're going, guys.
I imagine proximity is a good part of it too.
Yeah. Well, one of the good bar, like the good karaoke place was actually like a half-hour walk.
Half-hour walk is like nothing for me.
It was in the cold too.
That's something for me.
Yeah. I mean, I had like 4 layers on the second night because it was like 36 degrees outside probably by the time we got out. But
damn. 4 layers?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like a shirt, like a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a hoodie, and then like a trench coat over the hoodie.
God damn.
Plus like 2 layers of pants, like shorts underneath the dress pants, and then like gloves.
See, I'm the kind of guy where if I get cold, I would definitely need that amount of so to speak protection. Mm-hmm. However, it's just not very drippy.
Yeah, well the trench coat was drippy.
Well, the trench coat, yeah, but like what I would do is maybe a shirt and maybe like a long sleeve shirt since it's colder, and then a jacket, and that's it.
Yeah, but you're still gonna be a little bit cold. I mean, I don't know. I got really hot in the bar because of all the people in there. I had to take like 2 layers off.
Exactly. There's that.
Okay, because we all had our coats in one place.
But also think about like you're walking around and the drip it just emanates out of you when you're only wearing like one. There's like something about it where when it's cold and you're not wearing a lot, you're like, damn, this guy doesn't even need that many layers.
Like when we went to that place where we only wore t-shirts, and the bartender's like, "What the hell is going on? Why are you guys not wearing long sleeves or hoodies?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I'm probably just not remembering it as well because of obvious reasons. But it wasn't that bad. The
It
cold.
wasn't terrible. I think it was in the 50s.
It was like I think it was like getting in the 40s.
No, I think it was still like low 50s.
Hmm.
Probably by the time we left, I don't know, or probably by the time we walked to another place.
Fair enough.
But I don't know. I didn't really feel it much. Like after we started drinking, even though like I don't know if it's actually alcohol warming you. I've heard that's a myth, but there might be something in the alcohol that like convinces you you're warmer than you are.
I definitely think it's a myth after testing it out firsthand there. Like
Well,
I didn't notice
yeah,
any warmth really, but I just didn't. I was like not bothered by it, but I still felt it.
right. Well, shit, what was it? Oh yeah. So I remember reading because the Ray P stuff. I'm still like looking into that, right? I read on Reddit. I think it or maybe Twitter. I think it was Twitter because I've been
Stay with
following more
Twitter.
accounts on there. You said
That's
what?
a better one.
Yeah,
Stick with Twitter.
right. Well, the Ray P subreddit is actually decent because you can look up information on there. It's not like decentralized in the sense that there's a bunch of accounts and you have to start looking based on the account. You have to go in the search bar of a certain account and then like look if did this person talk about this thing. Instead, you can just kind of go into the subreddit search bar and like type a certain term and like forums will pop up about it.
Right. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Reddit has a lot of good answers a lot of the time, but I'm just saying for your own
Salvation.
yeah, just say it was Twitter.
But yeah, this was on Twitter. I remember seeing somebody talking about like rubbing progesterone like on his like neck. But he actually didn't even realize that was the thing that caused him, like, because there were like ladies looking at him apparently that he doesn't usually get, like looking at him like that. Apparently there was one that he ran into like this group of girls and one just starts like telling him like she, I guess as soon as he walks in, she like playfully jokes with him like as sort of like a, that kind of thing that people do where it's like a playful insult, but it's like still flirting. Apparently he said that happened to him as soon as he like this group of girls was like introduced to him with like one of the girls, and like he's like, oh, when I got home I realized that I had rubbed some like progesterone. I guess it was on his like wrist and neck or just maybe neck, but apparently it was giving him some sort of pheromones in that respect.
Well, how does he even get progesterone like that?
You can buy it like in like a, I don't know what kind of oil they put it in, but I bought like K2 vitamin K2 in like MCT. So it's like they just make the coconut oil like at room temperature more liquid, just by removing like parts of the chains, I think it was. So you can actually consume it like as a liquid at room temperature. So I think there might be some that do that rather than just putting like soybean oil or like canola oil. Because I went to the CVS and I was reading like some of these capsules. I think it was like some of these like vitamin capsules. And they put like soybean oil as like the first ingredient in some of these. And also, I mean, like aspirin, like if you buy aspirin as like the just regular like pill form, because I take the powder, and it's not the powder you buy from the stores. It's like I got it online. But if you take the pills, like the first ingredient in those is like cornstarch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that sucks.
But anyway, so like progesterone's good because it's a sex hormone that basically is supposed to like reduce estrogen, just in a healthy way.
So what he's saying is it basically acted as like honey to a bee.
It seems so. Seems to be the case for him. I might buy some progesterone just to see. We'll test it out. I mean, I remember finding a decent website where they had like a bunch of these supplements, and it was like specifically some that were like PD, and I think like they had like K2, progesterone, D3, it might have been something like that. I don't know what else, but I've also been doing the carrot salad because I hear from people that have good results with like reduction of estrogen or just at least feeling better overall when they eat the carrot salad. Which, I mean, what it is like I do the carrots, like I slice them with a peeler, and I'll just do like thin strands lengthwise. I mix in a tablespoon of coconut oil, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, some honey and salt. And so the insoluble fibers of the carrot mixed with the saturated fat, apparently when you mix them together like that, it's supposed to remove excess estrogen.
You got to send me that link when you get a chance.
For the website?
Yeah, because I mean, shit, fuck cologne. Let's go for progesterone.
Exactly. I mean, we need to see if that works. If that guy, I mean, I don't think he was just talking shit. It seems like he would know.
He seems like a knowledgeable lad.
I mean, I don't necessarily know the exact guy. I just know like The person who posted this story
Oh, okay.
was like somebody that seems more reputable.
I mean, it's worth a shot. Does it have like a smell or anything?
I have not smelled it. I don't have any yet, but I'll probably try it out and let you know.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any good quality ones on Amazon, but if I buy the one from like that specific website, it might be a little pricey because the K2, there's like, I mean, apparently the serving is like 15 drops, and there's 80 servings, but this bottle of K2, the small oil bottle, costs like some $60.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
But I don't use as much as it like tells you to as far as the servings. I think that's just too much. I just do like maybe 3 or 4 drops. So if anything, it should last me probably, I think like 240 days if I use it like just a small amount, like probably 5 drops, something like that.
Couldn't you get the same effect from just eating beef all the time though? If it's like the K2.
I'm just trying to make sure I have like the excess K2, which would be better because I'm taking aspirin, just not at the same time. But I'm just making sure I'm compensating for the consumption of aspirin because even if I have some in the diet, my thing is like I don't want it to remove more than I need it to remove, so I'd rather just take a little bit extra to supplement.
That explains the carrots.
What about them?
They're high in vitamin K, not K2, I don't think, but K.
I am not exactly sure if the vitamin content has to do with it. I know Pete just talked about like the actual fibers being the thing.
I guess I got to start eating carrots again.
Yeah, I mean, he recommended like a daily carrot.
I mean, they're not bad.
Mm-hmm.
They get sweet when you cook them.
It's a raw carrot salad. But with the coconut oil and the honey, it's actually sweet.
Wait, does it not have the benefits if you cook it?
I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure that breaks down the fibers.
Interesting, because every other vegetable you cook in, that's like
carrots aren't heavily defended compared to other plants, from what I've read. So there actually aren't really many defense chemical issues with carrots.
They're like a root, though, no?
Yeah, but I don't know. I've read like apparently because I don't know if it's necessarily just because they're underground, because I know that, there are other plants where it actually does matter even if they are underground. But I think it's more of a matter that they didn't really have to evolve them as much is what I've like come to as far as a conclusion on why that's the case. I mean, I could look more into it, but I've seen evidence for it not actually being much of a problem to consume. And honestly, like roots, in general, like aren't, I don't know, it would depend on the root itself, but like, I know like the Hadza, for example, like some of them eat like tubers, and I mean, that's a root, and I don't think they really cook them. I think the issue, because those are going to be starchy, so I think that would still be a problem, though. I mean, they're just going based on like intuitive eating and like an ancestral diet. So if they're not having really many problems eating that, I don't know. I mean, it would suggest that there probably is not as much of an issue in moderation.
Stupid tubers.
You stupid tuber. So I was asking you before the show if you had seen this video I sent you for that Gypsy Crusader did.
No.
And so
I mean, yeah.
I don't really want to spoil it, but anyway, there's a black guy in the video this time. He does the same riddle.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll just let
riddle me this.
Yeah, I'll let you watch that. But basically we were asking like, is this guy in prison or not? And I said, I think he's released. And so I looked it up on Wikipedia. On January 31st, 2023, Miller is his last name. His name is Paul Nicholas Miller. On January 1st, 2023, Miller was released from prison on good behavior with supervised release. In April 2023, USA Today sent federal prison officials a list of questions about his access to the internet while in federal custody. While in prison, Miller had used the internet to harass people and sell racist paraphernalia. After being informed of this, the Federal Bureau of Prisons determined that that this constituted a violation of terms of his imprisonment. Within days, Miller was sent back to prison. He was released once again on July 2nd, 2023. That's how his like Wikipedia ends. Apparently he's done Mario as a character.
Oh, is it under legal issues?
It's at the bottom, yeah.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
You know, I only recently found out that he's actually a gypsy.
It says his father, Robert Bob Miller, is of Roma descent and his mother, Diana Miller, was Mexican.
A Mexican gypsy. So, what do you think he thinks about like gypsies, like European gypsies? Because like the whole meme about like there was like one meme in particular where it was like the European Union or whatever. We need to be accepting to all people, and this, that, and the other. And then like the next like part is like Europeans talking about gypsies, and it's like a picture of Hitler or something like that. And I've experienced it too. It's like universal. Every European, for the most part, despises gypsies. Obviously, the Hitler thing's like an exaggeration, but they don't like him. So,
Yeah.
what would this guy think? Since he is one, technically,
I mean, he's still probably going to be racist.
towards his own people?
Perhaps.
Damn, that's dedication to the cause.
I mean, well, his Wikipedia claims he's a white supremacist.
What?
I don't, but of course Wikipedia does.
Yeah, the trend doesn't lie. Brown people being the saviors of
Yeah,
the white race.
Right.
Oh my god.
Apparently,
It's
he's
funny.
a former Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah, he actually does. Like, I remember somebody telling me that he actually knows how to fight.
Well, no wonder he's doing this shit.
What?
Doing the trolling. He could fight for himself.
You think it's tied to being able to like defend yourself?
Well, if he were a weak person, I don't know if he'd be doing this.
That's a good point.
So, I mean, maybe the fact that he's so strong and able and capable of fighting actually like incentivizes him more just to do it.
Less of a risk, yeah.
He doesn't have too much to worry about if he sees somebody in person.
Oh shit, he's a boxer too. On the Wikipedia thing, the little like card they give at the bottom, it says is total fights and wins and losses. It's got an even split though, so 7 wins, 7 losses.
Yeah, I like how the Wikipedia picture is just his mugshot.
Yo, wait, hold on. Did they do that for Trump? That would be great.
I don't think they did.
Hold on. Why is it not the first thing that comes up? No, they didn't. They should have though. That'd have been hilarious.
Have you seen that picture of Javier Milei doing like the kind of face he does where he like goes down and perks, or I guess it's what would the expression be for doing that with your lips, where he's like
Mogging?
like, pucking a little bit, puckering.
Mogging?
No, he's not mogging. He's like puckering his lips a little bit and looking down and up at the camera. Like his face is tilted down. He's looking up at the camera and he like puckers his lips.
No.
There's like this thing he does where he does that. Like he's done photos like that. And I'm just thinking like Trump's mugshot reminds me of that a little bit. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let me see if I can find Javier Milei. How would I look that up? Like what would I look up for the facial expression?
I don't know.
Let's see if we can pull this up.
Oh wait, what's this? Argentina President Javier Milei says plans to move embassy to Jerusalem. This is 3 hours ago.
Okay, let's see what we got here. I think it's mostly been in photos that he does with people. Maybe if I look up Javier Milei selfie, we'll find it.
I need to look.
Well, I only found one from the side where he's doing it. Maybe that'll help us, but it's funnier from the front. Oh, wait, I found a couple. Let's see. I got something to present for you. Actually, when it's close up, you can tell what's going on. Okay, I got a couple photos here, a couple exhibits. This one looks like it's his sister. Let's just do the one with the other guy first. I need to zoom in and out because the photos are different sizes. Hold on.
You got a full presentation here.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to have to do a couple different shares. Okay. Let's try this one first. Like, look at his face. How he's like puckering there.
Yeah.
You see this, right?
That's so weird too, because like the other guy is just doing like a casual smile, and he's just not.
Yeah.
From-
Okay, let's try the other one. I have to zoom out again. You can actually see it more visibly when he does this. And I'm fairly certain this is his sister. I remember her looking like this. Okay. Just pulling it up. I can't find any from the front, but the two ones from the side actually do make a pretty good case for what's going on. Okay, here. I mean, look at that. You see his face, right? Hold on. Let's go back to that. Like, I mean, look at this.
It almost looks like he's trying to do a Mog face.
Well, but he's not mogging though, is he?
I was gonna look up the definition to make sure I was using it correctly.
Well, mogging is like using your facial structure. I mean, generally mogging is like trying to like stunt on somebody. It's trying to like, you know, use yourself as the thing of dominance when it comes to the ability to impress others compared to somebody else. In this
Right.
case, I mean, it usually in memes it's used to like specifically concerning jawlines. So the fact that you are mewing consistently and have a well structured face is something that you use to mog others. And so, I mean, technically, you know, I can see the case for this being mogging, though.
He doesn't have the jawline.
It's trying to do like that Sigma edit, you know. That's what he's doing here. Yeah.
Do you think he's like paid people to make those Sigma edits?
I mean, there are Sigma edits of him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he funded some of them. Or maybe he really just is like sort of that somehow influential that people just feel like these edits of him are proper to make, even though it's strange that you're making an edit of another man.
I don't doubt that he probably has that influence. I know a ton of people that like him
Right.
for that reason. So,
But to the point where they make like these sorts of videos, maybe.
yeah,
He
I
does have
mean,
Sims.
if they're doing it in like the normie like politician circles, I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing it for him too.
Yeah.
Especially the Latins, because as we've established, the Hispanics are the ones that are all about like the like fasc adjacent like not ideology, imagery.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what's funny? That reminds me, one of our our mutual acquaintances, he was telling me one time. I forgot why he brought this up
Who
too,
was
but I
this?
think you're what?
Who was this?
So the guy that deleted all of his accounts,
Oh,
the other guy.
the other guy,
Yeah.
a friend.
Yeah. The like the main guy, I would say, because
Yeah.
I know the other guy
Well,
through
yeah.
him.
The other guy, what?
But I know the other guy through him,
Oh, yeah.
but I forgot what we were talking about. I think we were talking about like, oh yeah, when I was like this age, I was doing this on the internet or whatever, and like people bringing that up, and he's like, yeah, I was watching like Fash Wave edits or something like that. You know, the ones where they have like the black sun in the background.
Yeah.
Just
How old is
about,
he?
by the way. Isn't he like our age?
No. When he was watching those.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember the full context.
That's funny. Imagine he's like fucking 10.
Yeah. Oh.
No, I would imagine it's like closer to middle school. That's usually when it happens.
When it happens.
When it happens. I mean, you know, whatever set of ideas. I mean, it's not necessarily that you pick them in middle school, but I think like you kind of decide whether you're like PC or not PC around that time.
True. You can relapse though.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen.
No, I've seen it too. I'm just, and you're right, but I'm thinking like usually there's like an amount of kids that will be more edgy than others, and so it's like, yeah, those are the kind of kids that would go on these forums. I'm pretty sure it all started through Kick, man.
Kick was wild, bro. Well, I mean, like the original Kick, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Not the like a Rumble thing.
No, and I don't think it all started through Kick, but it definitely spread. I think Kick was a big way of spreading it.
I've had some of the most toxic conversations possible in Kick. Those are the glory days.
It was just so good for memes because you could send whatever. Like the video didn't, like, it's like Instagram has so many things that just get taken off. Kick, it's like you get sent a video and you can keep it.
Yeah, they didn't really moderate that at all, really.
Yeah, you could download the videos. You could, you know, if you were in a group chat, it's like Telegram now. I think Telegram's the closest thing we have to Kick.
Yeah. W Telegram.
I have not been on Telegram that much though. So honestly, I don't know
I
why.
don't
I'm
know why.
complaining.
It's like the perfect, despite all the stigma it has around it. Which I mean, I looked that up too. The stigma is really just kind of like it's like of everything like that. Like, oh, we don't really care what you say as long as you're not like promoting violence.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, does that mean you support this, that, and the other? And they're like, I mean, no, we're not gonna like get rid of it. And they're like, oh, whoa. But yeah,
Right.
you know, it's weird too. Like people that I've gotten their numbers from, like just casually, like people I've talked to about like they gave me their number for like a job thing, or they're like a casual person I knew in like college or high school, or someone that's a friend of a friend. I keep seeing them pop up in my Telegram thing. So I mean, it's only like validating the fact that like, you know, this is just like another messenger thing. I don't know why they're going out of their way to demonize it, besides the fact that it's owned by Russians. And I mean, even the Russians, I'm pretty sure they got in trouble from like Putin because Putin didn't like it because it was like encrypted or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, you've lost the plot at that point.
Haters just don't like free speech.
They don't. It makes them feel bad. I was gonna say too, you know, when you're talking about the middle school formative years, uh, you can usually tell who ends up in what section early on.
How so?
Well, think about it. What kind of behavior implies, you know, standing up for things that are considered hurtful or, you know, uncomfortable truths? It's not a very masculine trait. I'm just saying, you know, unless it's a woman.
Mm.
But even then, you're kind of just saying it. It's like this. It's not like valid, really. It's like
Mm.
I have to do this, but I mean, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you know, actually, I have this other story. I was just going to tell you. You know, I didn't really even think of anything for that last part. I'm just like, you know what? What would actually really be good right now? A story about well, I'll just say it and then you can figure it out.
Complete and total departure.
One of these speakers at this event was this old person, right? Very old. This individual was taller, right? And was dressed as a woman. I know you already know where it's going when I say that. And so the guy next to me texted me something like, you know, jokingly, like, I want her to be my sweetie or something. But then like the speaker says, it took me like 50 years to figure out my gender. But I could tell because of the hair, like basically the scalp connected to the hair looked as if like that it was like the hairline of a man almost, but like the rest of the hair was like grown out, you know, like to look like a woman's hair. But the forehead was like the giveaway. First of all, even from far away, you could tell with that. I mean, usually the facial structure is the giveaway in general, because I think it's like the upper lip, like between the nose and the upper lip is usually something I can tell with the jawline and even the hairline. Those are things where you would look at them and you're like, these are giveaways as far as whether this person is transformer. And so
like creation of God or a creation of man.
Right. And so, you know, then I laughed at it and he's like, no, you know, I thought, you know, that was before I knew. I was like, I could tell. And then he was like saying, because this old man was just like stumbling up on his words. And so he was like just sitting there like, and then he's like there for like a minute, not really a minute, but like maybe 15 seconds before he can get the next part of his speech out. He clearly doesn't sound like he's having the best time as far as mental function. And also his voice sounded like very robotic. It was as if it was a man, but like, you know, those voice changers, like those robotic,
I'm aware.
It's like not robotic, but it's like voice changers where it's like become a woman. And before AI was a big thing.
The only thing I can think of is like that stock TikTok voice.
No, it wasn't like that. I meant robotic in the sense that it sounds as if
not like mechanical.
No, it sounds like there's two voices layered on top of each other. It sounds like there's a vocoder on the voice almost.
Daft Punk.
Almost, but not. It wasn't like in the sense that it was choppy. It was just in the sense that it was like a man's, like a faint man's voice overlaid by like what tries to be an old woman's voice. It was almost like there were two voices overlaid.
Yo, that sounds like some like a Dark Souls boss voice
Yeah,
where it's like
almost, man.
harmonized and shit.
Yes, almost, pretty much. It's the first time I heard somebody like harmonizing their voice, you know, and it was strange. But yeah. Anyway, with the stumbling up he was doing, I think my friend texted something like, actually, let me pull up the messages over here. I got them on my phone because I don't want to mess it up. I think they were pretty good. Let's see. Okay, so we got oh yeah. So he said, I want her to be my sugar. I put a laughing emoji. And then he said, not anymore. She is not a she, LOL. And I said, I could tell from the start. And then he said, a few more years and she can compete against Joe Biden for the presidency. And then I said, I think this is Joe in disguise.
You know, it's weird too, because every time you tell me about this, there's always something that happens at these I guess the word would be convention, where it's like this seems like it doesn't really add up with the main focus of the convention. Like it's like anti that almost.
I don't know. I mean, these people are not necessarily as like anti that as you would think is good, you know. But I guess the other thing, a little bit unrelated as well. Oh, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, this just came to me. Did the shit? How do I not? Fuck it. Did
I don't know if this is the same thing I was about to say, where there's this guy who was dating a girl we know that caused some drama. That basically said like a lot of people he sees, he would like yell at them in public and like record them.
Oh, that guy.
I thought that's what you were gonna go on about.
No. I was gonna ask about your other companion.
Which one?
I'm trying not to give his like username in case like he doesn't want to be like there.
Can you
But
give any
like,
description of him? Like any details?
He has Eastern eyes, but he does not look Eastern.
Eastern eyes.
Yeah.
Like Oriental?
Yeah.
But he's not Oriental?
Well, I mean, like he is, but like he doesn't look like the rest of him doesn't look like it.
We have a chat here that you can type into.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Because I'm not picking up on this one. Oh, I see. Well, he is like, you know, partially Oriental.
Yeah. I asked him about it one time and I thought it was a weird mix. It's like Japanese and like Norwegian, something like that.
Really?
Yeah. But was
Which
he
side
there?
was which?
I think I asked, but I forgot. I would assume the man was a European.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would too, but you never know.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
I don't know. Point
But
being,
he was there?
No, he was not.
Damn.
No. But I will tell you, the other guy that I was just talking about was there.
Oh, so you did he confront you?
No. Well, the thing is, like, for the first like couple days, he just didn't even look at me. Like, I looked at him and he didn't even look over. Like, I think he was, I don't know if he was afraid to look at me or like, I don't know. Cause like, you know, he was just like looking away the whole time. I don't know. He's a little bit like autistic kind of, but
a little bit.
Well, he's like chronically online and he only acts like, you know, crazy with people online for the most part. Apparently there was some other chick that was there that he did say he would like yell at and call her like a kid diddler or something like that. He would do that and like scream at her, but apparently he didn't do that.
Who? Was it someone I know?
No, it was just some chick that like wanted a photo with him. That is like some chick on Twitter that apparently they've gotten into fights about stuff. But he didn't do any yelling when he saw her. He just took the photo. And yeah, when he saw me, he just didn't even look over. It took like a couple of days until like we were in the bathroom. There was like 4 people. And then he looks over at me. He's like, hey, remember this thing that happened? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then that's it. Then he starts telling the other guy about it. And then I walk out and I mean, and then he continues to act like he didn't just say that to me. Just stops looking over again. And I'm like, okay.
I should have went there. I would have made it so uncomfortable for him. I've been like, hey,
introduce yourself if you went.
This guy. Hey, remember when you said you're going to do that one thing? And I'll like make a big scene.
Yeah. He didn't tell me he was gonna do anything to me, but he was like trolling in my Discord and like had to ban him because of what he was he was just being an asshole.
He was like incredibly unlikable.
Yeah. He was
Even
just
if
like, I
some of the
mean,
stuff
and it
he was
wasn't
saying
even
was
like to the
funny.
point where it's like people are just kind of annoyed by him. It's just, just trying on purpose to like fucking disturb the peace.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really do anything constructive at all besides just kind of harass people.
Yeah, there was like one night where I was in the server and like you were there too, and he tries getting in the chat. I guess I had my permissions wrong, and he's like, oh, I can't get in voice chat. I add him in voice chat, do the permissions, and then he comes in, but then he's like, oh, I can't speak, so I fix the permissions again, and then he starts like harassing one of my friends. Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Yo,
Like, I don't know, and it was like it was after midnight. I don't know. This guy probably spends his life like that. I assume on Twitter and Discord, just doing that kind of shit.
I know what I should have done if I went.
What would you have done?
I should have asked him the question again.
Yeah, that was. You don't want to say it?
No.
Okay. You don't even want to say, does he belong to a specific
No.
Okay.
Nah. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well,
Because
anyway.
then here's the thing: if it happens yearly, right?
It last time was end of 2022. This time was beginning of 2024. I don't know if they do it every other year or if they just like I don't know how the schedule works.
All right. Well, my point is, it might happen again soon, and if I do decide to or have the means to go, I guess, and I see him there, then I can make a big scene there without spoiling it on here first.
They're definitely gonna do something if he reports you about it.
What do you mean?
Like I don't know. If you ask him that kind of question, he might try to report it to somebody.
What are they gonna do? I have immunity.
Just be like, you can't come back to our events.
Oh, I'll like pull a Sam Hyde and use a fake name or something.
Yeah, just be like, well, I just didn't understand that. I don't understand what's wrong with the question.
I'll do. I mean, it's a perfectly like valid question. There's only a problem with the question if you add a value judgment to it.
Yeah.
But what I could have done, like if they like get on me for it, I could just like use a real a thick accent and be like, where I come from, I don't understand why this is a bad question. This is a normal question where I come from.
Well, apparently he's not with that girl anymore.
Did you see
I don't
her
know
there?
how long they were together. But I couldn't imagine they were so perfect together. They were such likable people.
Yeah. Did you see her there, or was she?
No.
Okay. Did she? Because she said she was done with that, didn't she?
Yeah. Now, if you ask her that question,
I feel like if like if it got to the point where it is now, but we were still doing those in-person meetings, I probably would have asked that at some point. Especially if like the other guys were there. It would have been hilarious. Because I would be starting the soup, so to speak, and they would just kind of start like adding the ingredients. And it would just be like complete chaos.
Oh, hold on, I'm getting a call.
Bruh. Well, while he's doing that, we have a word from our sponsor. The podcast ever is sponsored by Red Meat. Red Meat, the best thing you could possibly eat. And you know it's true because it rhymes when I said it like that. Red Meat has the added benefit of making your life longer. By the way, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice, so don't sue me. Making your life longer and tasting great, improving your sleep probably. I might be thinking of something else. Making you more defined by your sexuality. Like if you more estrogen if you're a woman, more testosterone if you're a man. Did I mention it tastes great? It has saturated fat, which has that kind of benefit too. Improves your libido, makes you better equipped for workouts, any kind of exercise, and especially if you wash it down with some like milk or a dairy product, it goes great. And here's a quick trick, if you want to have some potatoes, because I know you guys out there, you love potatoes. If you want to have potatoes the right way, use the residual fat from the red meat, cook it in that. It's not only going to taste great, it's going to be way better for you. Denatures that harmful starch in your gut. Be great for you. Red meat, you know what it is. You know you want it. Come and get it. Okay, I was hoping it'd be done by now. You can find it in all different kinds of forms. Meatballs, steak,
What were you talking
ground
about?
beef. Hold on, I'm almost done. Liver. Any way you want it, just get it in your system. Great addition to your diet. And if anything, the most essential addition to your diet. Red meat. You know it. You want it to... You need to go and eat. Yeah, there you go.
I'll tell you what I had over the trip. I actually didn't really eat much of the food they provided because, they just, their food is I don't know if I can say it. I don't know if I should say it, but anyway.
Ass?
No, their food is zogged out, but
wait, what? What?
What I took with me was 3 pounds of beef jerky that I made, right? And so I dehydrated it and I put it in these bags, these Ziploc containers, or not containers, but bags. I took it on the plane. It got through TSA. The lady was like checking it out. She had to like examine it because it was, I don't know if it showed up as a sharp material on the screen or something, but she had to like look through it. But I started eating it. Ate it throughout the weekend, even on the flight back.
You ate it in front of her?
No.
That would have been like a real base move. Just pull
take it out of the bag and eat it as I go.
Like complete eye contact with her the entire time.
Just like rip it out of my mouth real quick. Yeah. And just start chewing at her. But yeah, I took that with me. When I got there, we went to the CVS. I bought a gallon of milk and like this big jug of orange juice. The gallon of milk took me all weekend to finish, but the orange juice I was just going through quick, so I kept buying the orange juice. I also went to a market up the street and like I got coconut water and I got maple syrup from the CVS, and pretty much all of that was like the main thing I ate throughout the weekend.
So you didn't eat.
What?
So you weren't really eating a lot.
I was drinking a lot more than I was eating, yeah. But I mean, the milk has fat and stuff and carbohydrates, so and protein.
Milk is everything.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with milk.
Exactly. So milk was satisfying that sort of like satiation that I needed from something. It wasn't just like I was, at least that liquid was helping me with that. The one thing I was missing was like sodium. I didn't really get a lot of that aside from the beef jerky, which was not good because, obviously you need sodium as well as an electrolyte. I know the coconut water has magnesium and potassium, but I should have gotten a little bit of salt and eaten it with all that.
Aren't you getting electrolytes from the orange juice?
But the problem is like the sodium. I mean, I guess you are as well from that because they all three have magnesium.
Yeah.
But there's like a lack of sodium and all of that. But the thing that was the good about the coconut water was the potassium. Like the level of potassium in the coconut water was good. And so pretty much, what was it? Yeah, I only ate. Aside from that, I think I went to the restaurant one night. Oh yeah, I guess the first night they served us some chicken and rice. The chicken had some sauce on it. I hope it wasn't seed oiled out, but it could have had a little bit in there. I
probably was. I usually assume any sauces.
It was like made by the restaurant, but still that doesn't mean much. But still, there wasn't like a shit ton of it on there. It wasn't like coated. It was just on the top a little bit. Like the chicken for the most part was dry, and then I had some rice with it. And the next night, I think it was, I went to the restaurant in the hotel and I had like this like loaf of sourdough that they make there because it's like low gluten. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll eat it. It's like this like big ball that they make and it comes with like honey that's like it comes with butter that has honey in it. And I could tell, I'm like, this is not fake butter because it was like solid because it had already been in the fridge, and seed oils don't usually get like solid in the fridge. So I'm like, this I'm confident that this is good because it wasn't even like extremely spreadable until it went on the bread. So I was happy. I was like, this probably doesn't have a shit ton of seed oils, if anything. It's not margarine too. Margarine still is like spreadable, even when you put it in the fridge. Bad. Yeah. So if it were like very spreadable, I'd be a little concerned, but it wasn't. It was like hard like butter. So, and then I had sushi. That night, I think I had like California rolls, and then the next night, pretty
No
much it was like
Alaska roll,
there was no Alaska roll.
bro.
It's almost the same thing. It only had crab, salmon, and avocado.
Wait, it had salmon and crab.
Yeah,
The California roll.
yeah.
They usually don't put two proteins in those.
That's what I read on the menu when I asked about it.
Okay, then you basically had that, but like with crab.
Yeah. But anyway, and then the next night they had this like cut of meat. Well, it was like roasted, like, or not roasted, but it was like a roast meat that like comes apart when you eat it. Cooked pretty good, like at not too high of a temperature. It had like some potatoes on the bottom, squash, and it did have asparagus, which I did eat a little bit of, but it was cooked, so it wasn't too much of a problem. But I was hungry, and they that didn't have a lot in it. They gave like probably a 6 to 8 ounce piece of meat, and I was like, man, I am still hungry over here. Don't have much other than this and water, which I didn't really drink. Then they had this cheesecake that they gave out, and I did eat it. I'm like, fine, I'm hungry. So, but yeah, aside from that, pretty much just ate the other stuff that I brought and bought, and it's pretty nutritionally complete aside from just not having enough salt.
I mean, you could just start eating salt at that point.
Yeah, I did after I got back.
It's funny you mentioned the 6 and 8 ounce steak. I had an 8-ounce steak at a chain restaurant the other day, and it came with like mashed potatoes. I had a soup beforehand. I had the good old cider too. Like 30 minutes, not even actually, no, like as soon as I finished, I was like, damn, this is definitely not enough. So like after a while, I was like kind of like, do I want to make more food? I get nah, it's late already. And then eventually I just kind of gave in, and at like 3 a.m. I made like eggs and apples. It was great. Oh, I was gonna ask, by the way, about the mead. So you said it was like sweet?
Yeah. I mean, it goes down probably as easy as like some wine, probably.
Yeah, wine's going down a lot less easy for me these days. Yeah. It depends, because the last couple of bottles I had were dessert wines, and those are like extra high in the alcohol content than usual. But like the only meat I've had is from a Slavic restaurant that's in my area, and it's like a certain kind. It's like a Russian Ukrainian type of meat or whatever, and it's like supposed to be made a certain way that's implied to be different from like standard meat, whatever that means. But anyway, I had it. Well, I've had it a few times, but my issue with it is it tastes really strong. Like the sweetness is not. It's like there, but it's like the sweetness is there in the same way. Like the sweetness is there, and almost like shit. What is that? There's like one drink that tasted like it too. It's almost like a cough medicine kind of taste.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll order it because I'm like, oh, mead, honey, it's great.
Right.
But then I'll drink it, and I'm like, I'm like reluctant to say I don't like it because I'm like, it's honey, so it should be good, but it's just not great taste wise. And I feel like
I don't think it's incredible, but it is better than some others. I mean, if you were to ask me would I rather have wine or mead, I'd probably say mead.
Really?
Depends on the wine. I don't know. I had some Pinot Grigio while I was there as well, and that didn't go down that great.
Yeah, that one's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I've had some aside from that, and it was good, but this one is just not.
Yeah,
just gotta go with Moscato.
I think the white, Moscato, that's like juice, bro. White wine seems to be the way.
It is.
But yeah, I meant to try like not Russian meat at some point, but I haven't had a chance to do that. They have like these huge bottles that I saw when I went with a buddy into a Total Wine, I think it was, or maybe it was ABC, one of those two. But the problem is, and the other thing is they're like Swedish or Danish or whatever, so that's like OG mead, because it's like a Northern European thing usually. But the thing is like a huge bottle, so if I buy it, then I'm kind of stuck with it type thing. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to buy this. So yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything else from go on?
Well, I was just going to say, I think like cider in general is the thing that goes down easiest for me. I tried one that was like Old Rock there. I think that was the one that was more popular. I found more of that than Angry Orchard, if anything, because I went to one restaurant where they had like I think both that and the hotel restaurant, their ciders were Old Rock. like one restaurant where I had the chicken. I went downstairs and that's what they had. Went to the hotel, asked for cider. What they had was Old Rock as well. It's not bad. It's good. I like it. But, nothing beats Angry Orchard, I think.
I looked up Old Rock expecting to find the thing, and I just got a bunch of classic rock.
Probably look up cider, Old Rock cider. I tried this
Yeah.
other cider, which had no sugar, but it wasn't like artificially sweetened. The reason it was is because it was a dry cider. And they use like Sauvignon Blanc yeast in it.
Wait, is it Old Rock or Bold Rock?
Oh, might be Bold Rock.
Yeah, because I'm getting Bold Rock here. But yeah, go on. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying I had this dry cider where it had no sugar, and I thought like maybe, they use artificial sweeteners. When I asked about it, I checked the can, and it just says it uses Sauvignon Blanc yeast, so it's a dry cider. That's why it had no sugar, apparently.
Did it taste good?
It tasted like a wine almost because of the yeast that they use. But I mean, it wasn't bad. I showed it to some guy. I let him try some, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get that." Honestly, he said he really liked it.
Fair enough.
I kind of liked it too, but I let another guy try, and he's like, "No." He was like, he's like the Spanish guy. Like Spanish is like his first language, and English is his second. He's like, "No, I don't like that."
I like how you go
I
out of
don't
your
like-
way to give like an impression whenever you're telling a story like that.
I don't like. I mean,
You
you
know
have
what?
to. It's part of the environment, the atmosphere.
It definitely enhances the experience of hearing the story.
It conveys what their experiences are.
I know, like,
I don't like. He misses out on like understanding like our idioms and terms and slang and all that. The transgender was using this term hooks and chairs, and he's like, "What's that?"
I don't even know what that means actually.
But I mean, it wasn't really like, okay, so in context, it made more sense. But it was basically just talking about like regulations and stuff. And so I understood when I heard it, even though I've never heard anybody say it like that. But he was just like, "What does that mean?" He's like, or I don't know. He's like, "What does that mean, hooks and chairs?"
That I don't understand.
Right.
What is this? What does it mean?
Let's see.
Why
I saw a
is
text from
nose-
him one night where he's like, "Are you drinking or sleeping?" Oh yeah. Let's see. He said, "What it means. What it means. Hooks and chairs out of the way."
What it means?
Yeah.
Was he the guy you were texting during the
When
thing? The
texting
like
during the thing.
the when the person was like doing their speech or whatever.
Oh yeah. This is the same guy.
I gotcha.
This is the same guy. They couldn't tell it was at first that it was a man.
In my country, I'm not used to. We know have.
Yeah. They don't have to track who's who a lot because they don't see a lot of them.
You know where he was from?
It might have been Ecuador.
The one that's a war zone right now, or maybe that's over now. That was like a few weeks ago.
I don't know if it's Ecuador, but somewhere around there in that part.
Ecuador.
It might have been something like that. I don't remember exactly. I think I kind of just guess Ecuador for these guys.
Russia condemns Ecuador over decision to hand Russian military hardware to Ukraine. Okay, I guess they're good now. I mean, if they're doing that,
He's a
Yeah.
brown fellow.
they tend to be from Ecuador.
Yeah.
Except the woman in here. Wait, she might be on the Russian side. Russia bans bananas from Ecuador for signing U.S. arms deal.
You see the thing about the woman that won, what was it, Miss Japan or something in Japan? You saw that award?
No.
Let's see. I can find it so that I can say the story. But basically, there was a lot of people talking about it because they're like, "Oh, well, she's not," because it says Ukrainian-born model winning Miss Japan reignites identity debate. So basically, well, she was Ukrainian-born, but if you look in early life, well, it says something about her. I'm just saying.
Come on, man.
Basically, I'm just saying she won Miss Japan, but apparently, yeah. See, people say Caucasian woman wins Miss Japan. That's what they white woman wins Miss Japan. Like a lot of people are labeling it as like white woman wins this contest. Can you believe it was a white woman that won this? You know, but anyway, apparently I think she had to rescind it or something because like I think there was something about her being in an affair. Let me see.
Yeah, I got this from the BBC. Karolina Shino, Ukraine-born Miss Japan, gives up the crown following affair.
Yeah, affair with who though?
With a married man.
What did that have to do with the award?
She's 26.
But anyway, that is definitely not the most beautiful woman in Japan. I mean, let's just be real. I'm sure there are plenty of Japanese women that are more beautiful than that. I mean, I know for a fact.
You're not saying this just because of the...
Well, you know, I'm just... well, you know, the thing is, I'm not saying it just because of that. I'm saying it's true no matter what. If she just looked like that, I mean...
Independent of the other facts.
Right.
You would still say that...
facts. She is still not the most beautiful woman in Japan.
They even say it here in the BBC. The first person of European descent to be given the honor.
Why are they not saying it what it is?
You would think they'd want to say that too.
Why are they? I don't know.
Because like it's always like the Jesus, or dangerous waters. But they're treading the line between, you know, being a minority and not. So you would think like they'd take the advantage and be like, look, this minority woman won in Japan. But if you just say white woman in Japan, that doesn't really cater to like the people that are about the whole identity thing.
Let's just
now
say
that they're just
Jonah
saying
Hill's
like,
real name. Look up Jonah Hill's real name.
It's not Hill.
Well, he was born Jonah Hill as well as something else at the end. So there seems to be a pattern of hiding that information. Which it's like, why would you be ashamed of that? You know, I'm not saying you have to be proud, but you know, are you scared of people knowing?
I mean, I feel like everybody kind of knows though. Like,
but what is the purpose of doing that?
Well, I don't know. Because you would think like, hey, look what we did, despite all, you know, the hardships and all that.
Shit. It's Black History Month.
Oh shit, yeah, we got to change the topic. Black woman wins Japan. Yeah, that's never gonna happen. You know, okay, so this is what I was gonna say too. The way Japan is too, they're very much anti-foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, whether or not it's a good thing or bad thing is kind of up for you to decide. But like, you would think that would bleed into what they consider for beauty standards too,
right?
Because like, I mean, it's not like the Koreans kind of have like a fetish with like Europeans, you know, bleaching their skin and all that. But the Japanese don't really have that, at least not to the same degree as the Koreans. So you would think like, you know, if you have a bunch of women competing, and naturally I'd assume if it's in Japan, a lot of them would be Japanese, you would think they'd cater towards the Japanese one because that's the way the culture is.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I know. That surprised me too for that reason.
You wouldn't have like it's not even just a Japan thing. Like if you had like a Miss, I don't know, Ethiopia, and you had like one like well, hold on, maybe that's a bad example. Hold on. If you had like a Miss Ethiopia and you had like, I don't know, like a gypsy or someone like that versus like a bunch of Ethiopians, you would assume
that like an Asian woman.
No, I was gonna say like a Middle Eastern one. I was like, well,
you could have said Indian woman.
I could have actually. Yeah, that might have worked. Anyway, but you would assume that the committee that's like deciding who wins or whatever would be a bunch of Ethiopian people, and they'd be like, well, I've been exposed to Ethiopian beauty standards for my entire life, so I would naturally think that the Ethiopian woman would be more attractive than the I don't even remember what example, like a gypsy woman, for that reason. I mean, it's not necessarily like a race thing or whatever. I mean, it's just kind of like That's what you're used to.
Yeah.
So,
But maybe this is a little bit relevant just because of the maybe ignoring of certain aspects of one's character. But it also goes on the Indian thing I was just talking about. I was watching reels and I just scroll on one where there was this guy interviewing Indian people I guess he was Indian as well, but he's like, what do you think about the character Apu? Like, do you think he's offensive? And they're like, yes, because we do not sound like that. It is very offensive to us because we do not, it is a character. It is a stereotype. It's like,
I mean,
you sound exactly like him. People need to understand that that is not a accurate portrayal of us.
you know what's funny too? I was talking to another buddy of mine. He went to the same learning institution that we did, and we were talking about how like every job there was run by one of them, and they were basically completely fulfilling any doubts anybody had about the stereotype.
Well, what do you mean, like one of
What do you mean?
Indians or
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, what would you like?
Did he work at a
Okay.
gas station?
You know that one place where like the main place where people went to eat usually? There was that little place with like it was basically like a convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
And it was usually an Indian person there.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Welcome,
I'm just
how may I
saying.
help you?
Well, yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that Japanese thing some more. Because yeah,
Surprised you hadn't heard of it.
I am too. I would have thought that would have like slipped into my radar.
I know a guy who has a lot of information on this topic was actually tweeting about it. A guy who has lived abroad.
Is currently living there?
I don't think he's living there anymore. You told me he wasn't.
You're talking about the guy who's like
out.
he's a fond enjoyer of people that dance, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Bro, did you see that tweet?
Yeah, that was fucking wild.
Bro, the actual fucking how it tweets out. You don't have to, I don't know if you'll have to like censor that word.
Let us censor it.
But tweets out, we will dance again. What does that mean?
Yo.
Stay away from tall buildings in New York.
I'm trying to think of like how else could they possibly spin that?
Yeah, like, what was the origin of that? What was the idea behind it? Like who thought of that and for what reason?
And somebody like think about it. I would imagine if you have a country accounts like that too, somebody would have to be like, okay, yeah, send that out. So somebody was like, yeah, approve that.
Right. But is there like another way of thinking about this? Like, is there something else this would even be relevant to?
So I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking the way they could possibly like rewire the message is like, oh well, we're talking about we'll defeat this nation and then we'll be able to dance again because we'll be happy. But even that's kind of like, okay, but how are you going to beat them? By what means?
Okay, but they should know what the
they should know what the
surrounding that is.
Yeah,
like for having a list of like offensive terms, right? Because I'm not saying they're aware of the offensive terms. Every time there's something that comes out that like is perceived that way, it's added to this like list by that one organization.
Did
so
you
would
see,
think there's an article on this
thing?
Huh?
The cement truck one.
What was this?
The cement truck one was about the underground burrowings.
Yeah, the burrows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, you said there's an article about the tweet?
No, I'm saying they're like, for having like articles made about the offensive terms, like consistently made, like if you have some, like, I don't know.
Yeah, right, I know what you mean. Right.
There's an organization that keeps track of these things.
That's wild too.
And so there's always an article made about these offensive terms and they're added as they come out. And so you would think that this thing has its own article and page, and you would think that's a common, like, because it is commonly used by people who would be perceived as like an enemy by, the interest groups surrounding this issue.
I love how like vague yet completely unvague we have to be about this particular topic.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. You'll censor that one word and then we're fine. Because
Yeah, nobody will know what else we're talking about.
exactly. And then it'll be complete like nuance and people maybe assume it about some, China or something.
Yeah, we're talking about the Chinese.
Man, the Chinese hate when you call them when you call Xi Jinping Winnie the Pooh.
Hey, they do. I looked up. Hold on. Can I send links in the private chat? Okay.
Well, if not, I'll just paste it.
I looked up to see if they had an article, and they did.
Right. I'm sure they do.
The first few images they use are hilarious.
Jesus. They're just posting memes for people. Like they're spreading these memes out. Oh my God, honestly, these are golden. If you want memes, just go to this website.
Holy shit.
Jeez, keep scrolling.
God. I mean, they're going into details behind it too.
Yeah.
Like they're just breaking down like every detail, so they know about it.
I wonder if they have a article for a certain thing. Hold on. Well, I'm sure they have one for this. Hold on. Let me do my own research here. Oh, yep. It's pretty quick.
This is like the first thing I looked up to, by the way.
Hate symbol. There we go.
It was like the first result on Google.
So I talked about the food that I was eating, and I used this term, a similar term to this. I'll send you the link to it so you can just, do a bit of reading yourself.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I was actually, it's funny because a buddy of mine were like, dude, that name is so great. We should start a restaurant like that. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, can't do that.
He thought of naming a restaurant after that name?
Oh, okay. No, not that actually. Never mind. I was thinking of the other one.
I was saying.
Hold on. Let me type it.
Yeah. Well, the relevant thing.
The what?
Does it have to do with dancing?
No, it's a swear.
Oh. Well, why would you want to call your restaurant, Slop?
Because it's hilarious. See, it's gotten to the point where like things like that are so like defended against being used, where the very mention of it becomes hilarious.
I think McDonald's should rebrand to that.
I mean, that's what it is.
That would be accurate.
It really would.
Because I mean, all these places have like fucking seed oils and all these processed garbages. It just makes sense. I mean, if that's not referring to that, then what?
Right? Like,
how like, that meme format where it's like, this food's pretty good when you don't have a bitch yelling in your ear about it. I read one that had to do with this, and it's like, this slop's pretty good when you don't have like somebody yelling in your ear, something like that. Thought it was funny as hell.
Do you have it on hand?
I think I might have lost it.
I
think somebody sent it in a Discord that I just am no longer in.
Okay, yeah, that happens. Have you ever been in a Discord that's gotten like banned, by the way, or like taken down or whatever?
I think I've only been like maybe kicked out or deleted.
Yeah,
somebody deleted a server.
Yeah, I've been kicked out, but like, I'll talk to people on Discord, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we had this one server, then it got like nuked," and I'm like, "Oh, you mean like the creator like got rid of it?" And they're like, "No, like Discord took it out." I'm like, "Whoa, what the fuck? I've never had that happen."
Yeah, like what do you have to say for that?
I know, right? Like, because I mean, it's not like you don't find edgy people on Discord. So my thing is like, where's the line? And like the thing is too, like it's not like I know these people, they're not like criminals or anything like that. They're not like advocating for violence or anything like that. So it's like, okay, what happened where it got the attention of like the official people? They're like, oh, we gotta shut this down. Like, where's the line?
Because I could imagine they'd start doing it if you're planning something, but if you're not, like, where exactly is this gonna, you're right.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, man. Like, maybe if you're spamming the N-word day after day, then maybe they'd like flag it or something.
Yo. I know, I think I already told you about this. The bot.
The bot.
The N-word bot.
I don't think you've told me about that.
I thought I did. When you were in that one server. There was like a bot that counted the amount of times you said the N-word in the server.
Really?
Yeah, and you could like use commands to like keep track of it, and then I think Discord disabled it or something like that. Which I mean, if you
Must
think
be
about
creative.
it, they're really getting rid of a valuable tool they could be using.
That's true. Maybe they stole the technology.
Did they sell the
They
technology
took the
too?
code and then they just like banned it from like other people using it.
That if they did that, I gotta give them props. That's kind of, I can't really be mad at them for doing that. Well, I can be, but I mean, they did it in a way that I would have done it if I was on that side of the spectrum, I guess. But yeah, I only found out about it after it was removed, though, and it was funny too because the logo for the bot was like a flaming N.
N-word shriek.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. If that's not enough to get your server taken down, I don't know what is then. Because usually these companies are pretty like strict on what you can and can't say and that kind of stuff like that. So I would imagine, okay, well, if you say that a bunch of times, then yeah. But I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, definitely.
Shit. I mean, this article is kind of just explaining it. Like it's like, like they're going into details and everything, and it's like, I mean, you're just giving them the info now. Like what?
Yeah, the one you sent, right?
Yeah.
You're giving them ammunition.
The pictures keep getting better. Oh my god. All right. Should probably change the topic before we get canceled.
What's your nightly routine? What's your morning routine?
What do you mean?
Do you have routines for either?
I mean, brushing my teeth, showering. You mean like outside of that?
What kind of toothpaste do you use?
I think it's Crest.
The fluoride.
Yeah.
I use coconut oil and baking soda now.
Really?
I've been using it. I had this natural toothpaste for a while that I was using. It's like a charcoal, no fluoride, pretty limited on the ingredients. It was like by this one brand, Hello. But now I use their toothbrush, which is like made of bamboo, like the actual bristles are, rather than the pole. Because if you look up bamboo toothbrush, you might just get ones where like the actual handle are made of bamboo, but where the bristles are still made of like nylon. But I have one where it's like made of bamboo and like other, like it's like I mean, I know it's like a vegan toothbrush, but still like it's good because it's like plant-based is far better than putting plastics in your mouth.
Fair.
But you can also get like a boar bristle toothbrush and pretty much just, you can brush with just water. And if anything, sometimes I do that, or I just brush with the coconut oil and baking soda, or I just swish it around. I usually do the coconut oil mixed with the baking soda at night. And then in the morning, I just may like swish with coconut oil. Do like oil pulling.
See, I was using just water, but then I figured, okay, well, I'm still using a plastic toothbrush, so I mean, I'm not really getting the benefit out of that. And then on top of that, I've got like this like permanent retainer thing that like makes it hard for me to like get some of the stuff out. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, I might as well just keep using the toothpaste until I get the proper setup because it's fluoride and anti-cavity and all that, so it should be good for the gums. That was my logic behind it. At least temporarily.
Well, the thing is, to prevent cavities, all you really need, is to remove like or disrupt the biofilm of the teeth, and then to prevent cavities, you need soluble fats, like fat soluble vitamins. So if you're getting those, as well as removing the biofilm from the teeth and just making sure that you're just preventing any sort of buildup, you're good, which you can do by just like brushing the teeth with the bristle itself. You don't really need like toothpaste, but I use the oil, the coconut oil, because I mean it obviously has a lot of those vitamins, and it's probably good to swish that around on your gums. The baking soda itself is also good, and so yeah, I pretty much have been using that, and my teeth are really good. I also, what floss do you use?
I use like the like handle flosses.
Oh, well, still that's gonna have like PFAS in the.
Yeah,
in that
but it's
string.
such a pain to use like the regular string. I
Yeah.
always get like stuck in my teeth and shit, and it is like the most infuriating thing ever. So I just say fuck it and use the like handles. And plus, it's got like the little like sharp thing at the end where you can like kind of like dig between the
I mean, it's
teeth.
plastic.
I'm trying, bro. It's rough out here on these streets.
Yeah. I know. The one I
Yeah.
use is a string, but it has no PFAS because it's also by the Hello brand. I don't know if they have handle ones.
If they do, that kind of solve my issue.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I haven't even looked into it. I just know. I mean, like I didn't even know they had the good toothbrushes until I was looking it up more.
You know how they say like you have to get rid of your toothbrush every so often?
Yeah.
Do you have to do that with that one?
Yeah. I mean, eventually.
Is it at least like a longer time that you can keep it?
I don't exactly know how long you should keep that for. I mean, I don't know what the difference would be as far as like the problem with like, because I mean, I assume over time it would like still get bacteria. Though, I mean, if you're cleaning it, it shouldn't really be terrible. But also, I mean, the wear of the actual, I think it's a bigger problem of the wear, right? On the toothbrush.
I'd assume so, yeah.
So if it starts degrading, this one's natural. So I think it would degrade, if anything, like in a certain amount of time. So you just need like optimal like bristles. So that's what you're really doing it for.
You should send me a link to that toothbrush when you get a chance.
Yeah. I don't know. But I mean the coconut oil and the baking soda pretty much work as a mouthwash as well. Because I mean the baking soda, it'll whiten as well as just be good for, I mean, like disinfecting because it's sodium bicarbonate.
So are you like melting the coconut oil and then putting the baking soda in there and then like just swishing it around your mouth or whatever?
Just put both in separately and swish them. You can
The
mix them
baking
first
soda's
if you want.
it's a powder though, no?
Yeah, you could put the baking soda and the coconut oil and mix it around, but I take both separately and swish it. I mean, they mix as you do that.
So you're putting them both in your mouth and swishing.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were like it's like how the fuck are you swishing powder?
No, I put the baking soda in and then I put the coconut oil in, swish it. If I want to brush with it, I use that too.
Yeah.
And it actually removes a lot of like the food in my mouth that I have like stuck in my teeth before. I mean, if I have flossed, it's not as big of a problem, but it may get some stuff that the floss doesn't even get. Or that's
floss
harder.
is fallible. That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, even like the little tiny bits that like may still need a little bit of extra to come out. I think that has helped, like, you know, with everything. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I use like tallow and honey mixed together on my face after I wash my face in the morning.
Tallow.
Yeah, it's been very good for my skin.
So saturated fat is good for the skin. It's just
yes, but coconut oil is different than tallow in that it blocks the pores. So tallow is the one that won't block things up. Coconut oil will likely cause breakouts.
Then is it the same thing with butter then?
I don't think you'd want to use butter just for the sake of like, I mean, it has milk in it. So I don't know if that'd be really good to leave on. Though, I mean, butter does take a long time at room temperature to even spoil.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you remember Kramer was like rubbing butter on himself?
No.
You don't remember that episode?
I was thinking about this last night when I was trying to get to bed and failing miserably at it. I need to start rewatching Seinfeld again because I'm forgetting all the episode details.
There's this one where Kramer starts rubbing butter all over his body because like he figures out it's actually good for shaving. So he just starts using it like on himself as like a tanning lotion, and then he ends up like cooking himself. It's the one where like Newman sees him as a chicken.
I think I remember that one. Yeah.
Like Newman hallucinates and Kramer looks like a cooked chicken and he looks over. You remember that image?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another funny one is where like Jerry and that one girl, like Jerry has that naked girl in his house. And then Jerry ends up going in naked too because like he's bothered by the fact that she's doing these gross things while naked, like opening a pickle jar and trying to fix a bike. So Jerry ends up going around naked to like, I guess, probably try and I don't know if he ended up enjoying it or if it was that like he was just trying to prove a point on it. But then she's basically like, no, don't do that. Like guy naked is different than girl naked. And then they end up like trying to resolve things, but he sees her even when she has clothes on as like this naked woman and sees her as like beautiful and all that, and he just wants to see her naked again. She looks at him and he's clothed, but still like she pictures him as like an ape where he's just like scratching his head like a caveman.
I do vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm doing after this. Making food.
I haven't eaten a
Then
lot today.
watching
I think I had like broth and the beef broth, orange juice concentrate, coconut water, and like dates.
Yeah, I need to get a good supply of dates. That reminds me, I have started taking the juice again.
The juice?
The juice.
What juice?
It was like orange mango mix.
Does it come like that?
Yeah.
Oh. Does it are they both from like concentrate or what is it?
It was 100% juice, concentrate, and then like natural flavors.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I looked it up too. The natural flavors, there's not really a huge difference between natural and artificial flavors because they're both basically chemicals that are made. But it seems like for citrus items, the I forgot what it's called, like Citrol or something like that. It's not shown any effects that are negative. Granted, I only looked it up on Wikipedia, so I could be wrong. But yeah, so I'm assuming it's fine as long as that's the only thing that's in there. But we'll see. Maybe I'll get cancer in like 2 days.
I don't know if I talked about this, but what I've been doing is that I've been making like Orange Julius. Have I talked about this? Have you heard about this?
I don't even know what Orange Julius is.
Orange Julius is like citrus mixed with milk because it's like kind of the recipe for it would be like mixing sugar, milk, and orange juice to have like I don't know if that's exactly what they put in it. It's just that would give you that same flavor.
Do you need sugar if you have the juice already?
I guess to sweeten it to make it more authentic to it. I mean, it's not bad to eat more sugar. You can sweeten your even your fruit. Like I saw a guy who was talking about he puts like cane sugar on his fruit, and he puts brown sugar in his rice. And it's like essentially that's his Ozempic because he's like post your Ozempic, and he posted like sugar with what? Do you know Ozempic?
No.
So it's like this fat loss drug, but it's terrible for you because it basically like blocks up your intestines to make it. I don't know if it's so that you like digest the food less or if it's I don't know exactly what it was, but basically the whole point of it is to block up your intestines. And there has been a case where a woman sort of like, I guess she like vomited like this brown substance or something like that. I don't know if it was like something along those lines. I read about it. Anyway, it is just trying to force your body to lose weight. And I remember seeing a tweet that was funny. It's like some woman was taking it. I don't know if she was like a celebrity or something, but she had a big butt before when she was a little bit bigger, and it shows her now, and her butt's a lot smaller. And it said like Ozempic's causing the ghetto cost. Yeah, and it was pretty funny. But basically, they were like carnivores posting like post your natural Ozempic, and so they were doing like meat, eggs, and so on. But the thing is, like, you know, this guy who was like more PD was doing he's like post your natural Ozempic, and it's like watermelon with sugar in it and like dates with sugar on top, and then even like rice with brown sugar. Because I mean, like you can have a majority carbohydrate diet and still be like, you know, thin and as opposed to what people think, you can still be thin and well structured as far as your body is, like muscle and everything.
I'm assuming it was white rice, yeah.
Yeah, white rice with brown sugar.
I do put honey on my white rice when I make it because the way I like my white rice is I make it almost like a paste, basically. So it's not really rice anymore. It's like rice paste, yeah. And I'll put like honey on top for like a little extra sweetness.
Yeah, I cook my rice with about like a half stick of butter.
Yeah, I don't do that. I add salt and that's it.
How do you cook it? Just water and rice?
Water, rice, and salt, yeah.
Yeah. So what I do is like in the pot, I put half a stick of butter, let it melt in there, put like salt, and then put my rice in there as it's like pretty hot, stir it around, then put like a couple cups of water, let it like get to a boil, and then turn it on low. But I put the water after I put the rice in.
How does that change the flavor? Is the butter like really potent, or is it kind of just like a hint, or
It
what?
is good for the texture, and it does add like a sort of a little bit of a, I wouldn't necessarily say a strong like creamy flavor, but if you add enough, it kind of does make it like a little bit richer in its taste.
Hmm. I'll have to try that once I can afford
Yeah.
to use that much butter.
And I've put like a little bit more than half a stick, and it tastes even better. Like I feel like if I put a whole stick of butter, it might just be incredible.
Butter does kind of just make things better.
Yeah. I mean, I can afford to put like that much tallow in there, so I don't know if it's gonna be as good, but maybe.
I feel like tallow would give it a more like savory flavor now.
Probably. But I'm just saying I could add on top of the butter with tallow, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. I looked it up, by the way. Orange Julius is a mixture of ice, which, take it or leave it.
Because
Orange
it's a
juice.
smoothie, like the actual way that it's made.
Yeah, I've never had this before. I only saw it at, like, Dairy Queens in the mall, and I never tried it. Ice, orange juice, sweetener, so you can replace that with sugar, milk, powdered egg whites, and vanilla flavoring.
Oh yeah, if you want to make the authentic one, I think the recipes.org website one suggests like putting an egg in there as well. It's more accurate than the one I do. But what I was saying is that like what I do to make my essential, I mean, mine is essentially a little bit more like a creamsicle flavor than an orange Julius. If I added the egg, probably would be more accurate. But I do orange
enjoy
juice.
creamsicles.
Huh?
I do enjoy creamsicles quite a lot.
I do orange juice, and I'll put a certain amount of baking soda in it because if you don't, the milk can curdle. And so what I've done before is have mixed like orange juice and like ice cream and milk, and it's kind of like curdled the milk a little bit. I didn't like it. I think I mixed like orange juice concentrate with milk and then orange juice with milk, or orange juice with ice cream, and both times it's kind of like curdled, and I wasn't a fan. What I decided to do was put baking soda in the orange juice, let it kind of like sweeten it because it has it's alkaline, so it essentially opposes the acidity of the orange juice. You mix it around, let it like sort of like carbonate a bit in there, and then you add the milk. You can add the sugar and the milk at the same time, or just put the, whatever you want at that point. Honestly, you just start adding the ingredients in. But I've done that with like sugar, milk. That's pretty much it. And it just tastes really good. Like I've eaten it. I've been like drinking it a lot.
Shit, I gotta try that. How much baking soda and sugar are you putting?
So I pretty much like it's anywhere from like, I don't know if I'd say a quarter teaspoon to a half teaspoon, like probably somewhere in that range. And then sugar, I just kind of dump it until I feel like it's all right. It doesn't really matter how much sugar you do. I think you should just do it to taste.
Fair.
But it doesn't matter if
It's
it's a
gonna
little
make
bit
you
more
fat,
sweet.
bro.
But yeah, I do probably like 2/3 of the cup is orange juice, and then 1/3 of the cup is milk.
2/3 orange juice. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So you want it to be dominantly orange juice.
Yeah, but if you put too little milk, it just tastes not as strong. Like it doesn't taste as creamy, obviously. So I would put at least like 1/3, but probably not half and half. I don't think half and half would be great. I think it would be too milky. Like it would just dominate the orange juice.
Yeah, because of the cream.
Yeah, and milk is basic as well, slightly. So pretty much, I think it'd be just too like, there wouldn't really be any sort of like pH difference in it. You'd almost be drinking like the pH level of like water. Maybe a little bit more basic than that, just because of the baking soda.
I wish I had orange juice so I could try it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to the store.
I've been eating. I don't know if I talked about this, but I've also been eating like orange juice concentrate out of the can.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, I did.
I don't know how you do that.
I saw some guy talking about it on Twitter that he's like this like PhD candidate guy, but he also talks a lot about like Ray Peat stuff. And pretty much to get his sugar in, he pretty much just starts like eating it out of the container.
Absolute mad lad.
I mean, if you eat the whole container, it's like 600 calories. So it's like that could be a meal almost. I mean, it's like pretty much a meal.
Hey, what'd you have for dinner? Oh, concentrate.
Yeah, I mean, I've like had like smaller like actual like foods for breakfast and then just eat a lot of that, and it's like satisfied me just as much as eating a decent sized breakfast.
Well, whatever works, I guess.
Yeah, but for nighttime, what I do, I actually take like baking soda by itself because I think something in the orange juice actually disrupts the baking soda as far as the benefits when it comes to the carbonation in your body. I forgot what it was, but basically I take like a spoon of it, or not spoon, but like a half teaspoon by itself and drink it. And the little bit of carbonation that you don't burp out is good for you. Also, I take L-theanine, which is good for sleep. Both of those are good for sleep, the baking soda and the L-theanine. And I take usually like I would say, eighth teaspoon of aspirin, which is just, is also just good for the biological processes. Aspirin actually, the thing with it is if you, I talked with you about this, if you take it around the time that you're eating like PUFAs, it's supposed to counteract I think it was the serotogenic effects of them. I don't even know if that's the proper way of saying it, but it's supposed to prevent that from taking place. I know just in general, it's good for the proper separation of cells. And so when you have fat cells that are growing, that is essentially what PUFAs are doing to you. So when you're eating polyunsaturated fats, you're actually having the reason it causes insulin resistance because of the damage it's doing to the fat cell. So you're having pretty much a growth of the cell and an inability for it to separate, which is essentially what is happening to the damaged cell. And it is not able to accept sugar because of that, or at least I guess process it properly. And so basically aspirin, from what I've read, is supposed to help with that process of proper cell function and separation. So it's supposed to, at least in part, counteract these sort of the negative effects of PUFAs in general.
Yeah, I gotta find a way to buy that. I guess Amazon. By the way, did you take that with you on your trip to Washington?
No, but I took baking soda and coconut oil.
Is baking soda like a decent substitute?
I wouldn't say a substitute for aspirin, though. It is just it is just good to have that excess carbonation. The good thing about it having to be that it helps counteract some problems that happen with, I think it was methylase is the term for it, which happens when you have a lack of carbonation, which is supposed to be, I think it has to do with thyroid function actually having to do with the production of carbonation within the body, which has a lot of benefits. And the thing is, it would help support that. Also, but I think it was methionine. Eating excess methionine is supposed to inhibit that, if anything. So if you're eating muscle meats without eating a lot of gelatin, if you're eating just which you could get if you have meats with connective tissue, it's better than meats with none. But pretty much just only eating the cuts of meat with that are muscle meat have a certain amino acid profile, including the tryptophan, cysteine, I think it was, and methionine, which are procortisol, if anything, compared to other cuts, or I guess other parts of the animal. So pretty much, eating
No
methionine
turkey.
or high methionine, huh?
No turkey.
Yeah, I'm just saying the methionine is probably one of the worst ones. But yeah, no, tryptophan still isn't great. But point being, excess methionine is supposed to cause a sort of I guess that methylase effect. And so basically those are things that can cause issues. I think autism spectrum disorder was one that was Pete listed. I think it was I can't remember the exact other ones, but it was just issues with the body. Especially if a woman who's pregnant has a high amount of that, would probably affect the kid. So not aspirin, baking soda is supposed to help, the excess carbonation is supposed to help with that. So that would be the effect of that.
So I can keep eating a steak every day as long as I have baking soda every now and
then. Gelatin would be a good addition to when you're eating the actual steak. Though, the baking soda would help support any sort of breakdown of that, where I guess limiting the amount of methionine that's affecting the body.
If you cook a piece of meat with the bone, would that not let some of the gelatin seep into the meat?
It would probably be good to eat the marrow itself.
Fair.
And at that point, I mean, that would definitely help. But yeah, no, I mean, I've even added like gelatin to my meat when I make it. Like if it, I mean, it's already gelatinous as is a bit because I've had like roast, where if you like if it's in the fridge, you can tell that it has like gelatin in the actual liquid because it kind of it just solidifies. So, but I still add like a little bit more, and gelatin's good as far as I was telling you about that like version of fasting where you're just eating carbohydrates, and pretty much the thing with that is like apparently gelatin isn't supposed to disrupt that, whereas regular protein would. But gelatin also isn't really something that affects muscle growth.
Like positively or negatively.
Yeah.
So the answer is to kind of do a bit of both then.
Yeah, I mean, gelatin's a good source of protein itself, and so is milk. But it's good to balance the amount of muscle meat eaten with gelatin. Because I know even Saladino was doing a video where he was talking about this, where like excess methionine, when studied, I think it was in rats, would actually cause like early mortality. But he said it could be offset by that consumption of like connective tissue. So he said basically it's not a problem if you're as long as you're eating more like of that.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to get over not eating organs. I have a liver now, calf organ or calf liver, not cow liver, but it's starting point.
You have the whole thing.
Yeah, they're not really big. There's like 3 of them.
Yeah, you would definitely want to sear that because cooking all the way through, it's going to have a very like dirt-like texture.
Hey, wait, dirt-like?
Yeah, it becomes very hard to consume.
What the fuck? That's okay. That explains a lot, actually.
But if you just sear it on the outside for like 20 to 30 seconds on each side, it's pretty good.
I feel a bit now. Well, this is probably a good place to stop it, I guess. I've been going for a while.
I mean, we did talk about that for a while, but yeah, I don't know. I accomplished going to DC.
City boys, we up.
And coming back, yeah. White boy winter.
We're taking back the winter now, too.
Can't wait for white boy summer. I did go to Utah last summer, so that was my white boy summer.
A portion, yeah.
If only I had been soaking there.
Oh, right. I forgot what that was. I was going to ask, and then I caught myself at the last second just before it was too late. Yeah. So here's your homework, audience. Look up what soaking is, I guess.
Look up what soaking is, and look up soaking videos to do your research.
Are there actually videos for that?
I don't know, man.
I figured that like wouldn't actually be a thing because I heard it's like a common like an urban myth or whatever.
It's not real. I feel like it is real. I think I've been told it's real from somewhere.
What's real?
Soaking.
Okay, just checking.
Pretty sure I don't know if it was a guy from Utah telling me it was real, but it was somebody that knew about it.
He told you it's real.
Yes.
It could be like a thing that Utah people do where I don't know if you heard of like the drop bear thing.
No.
It's a thing that Australians tell like foreigners that there's like a bear that looks exactly like a koala and they'll drop down from trees and like maul you.
Yeah, I remember that. So it's basically like they're trying to perpetuate the myth for the sake of like entertaining themselves.
Pretty much. It could be like that. Because like, I mean, if you're doing it, you might as well just do it. That's what I'm like. Why would you go through all that trouble? Because I don't think even people in Utah are that religious.
I mean, I don't know.
That's like
I
some
think
PC type shit.
I've heard from the guy in Utah. I know this was the guy in Utah that told me this. He said apparently it's showing that like it was like some like I don't know if it was like a good fraction of people don't even affiliate with the church anymore. Or like I guess it was they say that they're not even religious. And it was like a sizable portion, like in the tens, like not in 10%, but I mean like in like multiple tens. Like I can't remember if it was 40 that say they're like that or 60 that say they're like that. And he was saying the other four, it was probably 40% that say they don't associate. It wouldn't make sense the other way, I think. But apparently the church is just still saying like, you know, as if that's not true. Like they're just trying to see like seem like their numbers aren't down.
I wonder, do they like lose like tax benefits or something if their numbers aren't that high?
Well, I don't think so. They're still a church.
Yeah, so I don't really see the incentive to really care that much.
Well, they don't want to seem like support for their religion's down because then it implies some sort of well, not necessarily that there is another truth, but at least that there might be something wrong with the religion to where people don't want to follow it.
So by that logic, then Islam is the right way.
Because there's enough people following it.
Oh, it's also growing apparently. Which I mean,
I can hear a plane from outside my room here. It sounded very close. Wait a minute.
We will dance again.
Yeah, wait a minute. Just thought about that.
I was thinking about that too. They wouldn't do the same thing twice. So, I mean, New York High buildings are probably fine.
Are you sure about that?
Technically,
they did do the same thing twice.
That's actually true, yeah. So I think the better course of action is avoid populated downtown areas of large cities.
Yeah. You never know. Now, what is the most anti, place in the US, like as far as cities go? Do you think there's a specific place that would have to be targeted, or maybe are we just going to see like a populated area again, like California or something be hit?
I feel like it would have to be like a big city because I think that's where most of it is.
Yeah. It would have
like
to be a big city where
maybe like Chicago.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's in Chicago, maybe it's not that bad.
No, I keep telling people this. I frequently forget Chicago exists. Like I'll remember some like capital of like some tiny piece of shit country in the middle of like Asia or Africa, and I'm like, oh yeah, Chicago exists too. Same with Portugal. Except they kind of
some guys from Portugal.
Not even Brazilians, just Portuguese.
No, I met Brazilians and people from Portugal.
Damn. I hate Portuguese.
I should have asked them if they were superior to Brazilians.
You should have asked him to speak in his language. Dude, that language is disgusting. The way
I heard them talking with each other.
Dude, it's gross.
I heard both the Brazilians and the Portuguese talking with each other.
Really? And they were able to do it?
Well, I meant like individually.
Oh,
with
okay.
Their same people.
Yeah, bro. European Portuguese, I don't know how that's a Latin language.
Can they talk with one another?
I'd assume yeah, but the difference in accent might be so drastic where it's like really difficult.
I don't know. We'll find out next time.
We will follow up on that. Remember to look up soaking and stay away from urban downtown areas for like the next, I don't know, like a year or two.
As long as you do that, you'll be in the clear.
Yeah.
This has been the podcast ever.
With all your dietary, pseudo-political, and anecdotal needs.
Yes.
All right. See ya.